I kind of talked about being diagnosed with POTS, autonomic neuropathy, and then after that, well, before that, asthma, Hashimoto's, then those two, then hypoglycemia, gastroparesis, dry eye syndrome. See, now I'm going to have to pull out my book and look because I tell you I can't. It's adrenal insufficiency. It's just too much for one person to remember. Which, I'll get to this here in a second. This was recommended to me by a fellow POTS person. Yeah. Small fiber neuropathy, adrenal insufficiency, and I think I listed them all. If not, I'm sure I'll remember and add it in at some point. But I've been diagnosed with several things since being diagnosed with autonomic neuropathy. List of symptoms. I'll give you some of the list of symptoms. That I took initially to Dr. McDermott, who is in Virginia Beach. He's getting another plug because without him, I cannot imagine what I would be going through right now, because when I went to him last year in February, I didn't know what to do. I had this page-long list of symptoms that I couldn't explain. I had experienced some of these symptoms back in 2005, which was really weird because back in 2005, I was what I would consider in the best shape I had been in a long time. I worked out every day. I was very physically active. But then all of a sudden, I became very fatigued. I slept all the time. I had no energy. I felt like I was crawling. And I went to office, but it was called something else at the time. And they did some tests on me, and it came back I had Epstein-Barr virus. Plus, I was overhydrated, which now makes sense with what I've been diagnosed with. It wasn't that I was drinking too much water. I probably, because I drank the same amount that I always drank, I probably either had a low cortisol issue going on back then, or it's really all I can think of. Nobody ever thought to test my cortisol or my ACTH until I basically demanded that my old endocrinologist do so because of the symptoms I was having. But I went into that in the last video, and after that diagnosis, and her not seeing a problem with the test results of the STEM test, I switched to a different doctor. And my poor kitty's getting bored. So some of the symptoms that I took to him were stomach pain, stabbing, spasms, knotting in the middle or on the side, which radiates around to the back. This went on until it started in August of 2012 when I was starting to lose weight and couldn't eat anything. It continued off and on until I figured out what I could and couldn't eat, which was a long process. I still will have times where I will eat something and this will happen, but it's not near as bad as it used to be. I still cannot drink regular water. I haven't had caffeine since the end of 2012. Every now and then I will eat some gluten-free organic chocolate because I love chocolate. And it doesn't bother me. Because of the gastroparesis, I cannot eat very much food at one time because my stomach does not digest food very fast. So I have to eat a lot of small meals. And like I said before, I lost a lot of weight because of that, which I had gained the year before because my thyroid was out of whack. So, nausea, other stomach issues I don't feel like getting into, blood pressure, heart rate fluctuating. I have I've had all kinds of heart tests done. I will have a extra beat every now and then. My heart rate will decrease suddenly, increase suddenly. There's nothing wrong physically with my heart. There's like a mild mitral valve, whatever, but there's nothing, going on. I'll go into tachycardia for no reason. I'll go into bradycardia for no reason, other than it's the autonomic neuropathy in the POTS. When my heart is not beating correctly, so that's my southern accent coming out. It feels like the air is being pushed out of my lungs and it will make me cough. So that's where that extra beat is coming in. Pre-syncope episodes, which is, it's basically the same thing as having a syncope episode, except for you don't pass out. You still have the same symptoms, but you're awake. I will have syncope episodes with the hypoglycemia, though. Chest pains, joint pains, nerve pains, which I told y'all was the small fiber neuropathy. I do also get that in my right hand and my right arm every now and then. Really, really, really bad foot cramps. I got one so bad in my right foot one night. This is actually kind of funny. It was thundering and storming really bad. And I heard a really loud boom. Woke up. This happened all simultaneously. I woke up, my right foot was cramping and it was curved like this. When I tried to stand up to see what was going on in my backyard because I had heard the loud boom, my left leg was asleep, which is another symptom of this. So I'm trying to walk with this leg asleep, this foot asleep, this foot cramped up, and I finally just fell on the floor and started laughing. But I still had to get over there because I thought somebody was trying to break into my house. So anyway, the next day, I could not walk on my foot. It felt like I had broken it because what had happened is the muscles had contorted my foot so bad, the joints on top of my foot, and I'm showing my hand again instead of my foot because I don't feel like lifting my foot. They had contorted my foot so bad, the joints hurt, like to, push down flat. So for, I think 3 or 4 days, I had a really hard time walking. Then there's the numbness, tingly, cold sensation with the right leg, migraines. I typically get anywhere from 5 to 7 migraines a week. I recently, and this has been going on since 2009. I'm going to skip through all the things that I tried because I just don't even feel like going into it. I recently started Topamax in June. It's still kind of going back and forth, but and some of it has to do with neck pain because I have some herniated discs in my neck. Some of them have healed, some of them haven't. That happened in 2009. But the muscles contract around those discs and it'll cause a migraine. Sometimes it's due to being cold. Odors, heat, light, all kinds of things. But anyway, the migraines have gotten to where they're maybe at the most 4 times a week now, and they're not lasting as long as they did, where they used to last sometimes 2 to 3 days. They're lasting they're still over 4 hours, but they're not lasting all day, all night. So I'm happy with that improvement. And if it keeps going that route, that's better than any other treatment that they've tried. I can't think of what it's called right now, but I have very sensitive hearing to where I get distracted very easily, but loud noises actually hurt my ears. And I have ADHD, which doesn't help this. Hyper something or other. But I was told by an ear, nose, and throat specialist that I have, what did he call it? Almost sonar hearing. But I think it depends on the tone. It's not that I can hear what people are saying. I can just hear. And if someone is talking to me and there's something going on over here that is loud or of a certain pitch and it hurts, it immediately gets my attention because it has to stop. This ear, with certain noises, all I will hear is a so there's that. Same thing with light. I'm very sensitive to light, which has to do with the eyes staying dilated. I've already talked about the dizziness and the lightheadedness. Another thing is the feeling weak and fatigued all the time. My quality of life is very limited due to being heat intolerant, due to being tired all the time, due to stress. It wears me out. Pain, the pain that I'm in all the time wears me out. The medications that I'm on. Confusion, disorientation, hard time remembering things. I've already talked about that. Another thing is not only shaking externally where you can see it, but internally. And people that have this will know what I'm talking about, where you will just shake, your body will shake internally. And I wear layers normally inside. I don't know if you can see my goosebumps right now, but I'm cold all the time, unless I'm outside and it's over 74. Salt cravings. A lot of times when I'm eating or drinking or trying to take medicine, or just swallowing, I'll start choking. Over the past 2 years, my vision has gone from 20/20 to where I've had to get progressive lenses. I think some of that is the dry eye syndrome personally. This eye, I have eye twitch, which comes and goes, which is often the case with autonomic neuropathy. You'll have one thing going on, and then we call it waxing and waning, and then something else will pick up where it left off. Like maybe my foot will stop hurting for a couple of weeks, but my eye will start twitching. Or maybe the eye will be twitching and the arm will stop hurting, or it's just different things like that. I already talked about the low body temperature. God, I'm breaking out in highs. What in the heck? What did I get into now? Okay, so anyway, I'll just talk like this for the rest. Okay, so anyway, I had this conversation last year around July where somebody was talking to me and I couldn't understand what they were saying, and I asked them I was like, what? Or huh? Or whatever, and I could not understand what I was saying back to them. And this went on for I don't know how long, because the total comprehension thing wasn't there. When I thought I understood what they were saying and I tried to answer them, I could not understand what was coming out of my mouth. So I just sat there for a while until my head started clearing and I could think again. So I guess that's, part of the autonomic neuropathy as well. But going back to this year, that happened again. And I was also having symptoms of my cortisol being low. Again, I was not going to go into it, but I was getting, what's been happening is in the afternoons, I have problems with dizziness, feeling faint, having problems concentrating, being able to focus visually and mentally, making mistakes. Um, so, and there's more symptoms, but the end of April, beginning of May, it was happening in the mornings. So again, I think it was May 1st, I ended up in the emergency room. And I had an electrolyte imbalance. My cortisol was low. My there was some other stuff that came back abnormal. So my endocrinologist put me on hydrocortisone. I was having very irrational thoughts. That had I told the hospital about, they would have admitted me. So I just kept telling myself, because I'd gone through this before, that it was just my cortisol being low. A lot of people will say that low cortisol does not affect your emotions, and they're wrong. They're very wrong, because it not only affects your emotions, it affects your whole body. It's scary. I can see such a difference now being on hydrocortisone. And I know there are other people around me. If anyone was to ask them in the past month if they have noticed a difference in me now, as far as just my attitude, because I still don't have a lot of energy, but just my attitude and how I'm dealing with things overall, I would say that they would probably say that there is a difference. Now, there are some things that I don't deal well with still, but I'm human. And like I said, I'm having back-to-back stressors.